Okay, so let's go through the principles real quick, right? So curiosity, positive regard, position, emergence, and horizontal attitude, right? The last one, horizontal attitude, is a little bit of a play on words. It's built in horizon, meaning we move towards a horizon and don't have a specific top-down goal, right? But it also is a way of teaching to be horizontal in everything, which also implies to work with polarity integration, where we will integrate two sides of a polarity. So the horizontal principle has a lot of complexity. So let's begin from the beginning. So curiosity. Curiosity is basically to be open to new possibility and to notice it's like, oh, that would be interesting to understand. I would love to understand this. But that's hard to do if we don't have an openness to possibility yet. First, an openness, like, hey, I could be completely wrong. I may not know at all. Maybe I do know, but I may not know. I wonder what the truth is about this. So when we do this within ourselves, some pretty magical things begin to happen. So if you have a positive state beginning to arise within yourself, if you just go, I wonder what this actually is, instead of going, this is happiness, it's like, okay, maybe, but let's pause. What if you don't know what this actually is? What if you can wonder? That pulls us in towards it and it feeds it energy. And that piece of consciousness will tend to begin to flourish more. It becomes stronger, becomes deeper. You'll understand it more, and you'll get an ability to access it more and more often. When we do meditation, for example, one of the most important things is to learn to continuously produce curiosity in the object that you are meditating on. So when I was living with sister, for example, she, 72-year-old, just wild Buddhist nun, was like, I would quit the meditation after 3 hours and she'd be like, why did you stop sitting? Just sit longer, right? But have a 4 hour meditation, she'd be like, bro, why do you keep quitting your sits? And here we would work with the same object for a very long period of time. And we'd be like, but I know what's going to happen. She goes, that's how I know you're not meditating right. Your mind is closed to possibility. Get curious. And you're like, I don't know how to be curious. Just like, figure it out. Get curious about how to get curious then. And in Buddhism, they sometimes refer to like the seven enlightenment factors, mindfulness, energy, equanimity, and whatever. She would actually say that the eighth mindfulness factor is curiosity. You need it in order to have like the final realization. Curiosity allows you to meet everything fresh. Everything has freshness. Things go from stale to fresh. This is also how you overcome projecting onto other people. Because if I meet someone out in the wild and that person comes across a certain way and I go, oh, it's that kind of person, then I'm not open anymore. Now, let's not disregard having pattern recognition, but we can combine them. We don't have to do either or. We can have both curiosity and pattern recognition. I'm going, that looks like this pattern. I wonder if I'm right. So when you do this, there are a couple of interesting things. One fun rule of thumb is to avoid asking why questions, because why presupposes that you know the reason why something is happening, or that the other person knows why something is happening. And we'll just make justifications and we'll cement that reality again. So for those of you who do one-on-one work with me, you probably notice that I don't really ask you why that often. I ask you, what's happening right now? What is going on? What do you want to work on today? When did you first notice this beginning to happen? I didn't say, when did it first happen? I said, when did you first begin to notice this thing happening? Because I don't presuppose that you know the answer either, and neither did I do. Just curiosity. So if you say something and I feel like, oh, there's no part of that I'm interested in, what I tend to do is I just tend to repeat what you just said. And as I say it out loud, I go, oh, I don't understand that part. What do you think of this? I do this when I communicate with my own ego states, with my own consciousness, or when I communicate with you. Whether you're a client, whether it's a prospect on a sales call, whether it's my girlfriend, or if I would have been single and it was a girl in a bar or wherever on the street, doesn't matter. If it's conflict resolution, if it's negotiation, if it's in a management situation, find something to be curious about. It breathes life into social interaction. Your way of relating becomes so much more fun and organic and healthier. You have so much more energy going on here. And then you move from here to unconditional positive regard. Anything that's happening, you notice the positive qualities that's coming up for someone. No matter what. If the person is screaming and calling you names, well, this person is very passionate and very clear in what they think. And they're letting me know where I have them. Whereas positive quality is a very powerful way of reframing things in a way where you don't disregard reality. You just notice the positive quality. We didn't say we ignore the negative quality also, by the way. Just make sure you tune in to the positive quality too. And then you notice the positive intent underneath. So if you're having a part of yourself, for example, that keeps procrastinating work, notice the positive quality. Could be anything. Maybe this part of you has the ability to enjoy life without working. And what's the positive quality? What's just the positive intent underneath? Well, ask that part of you. What's your positive intent? Before you have that, you will not have enough trust, connection, and comfort with that part for that part to be able to actually properly work with you. And the same thing happens with people. If you don't see, if you cannot see the positive quality and positive intent by asking, be curious about it, you will not be able to get as many people to collaborate with you as you could have. You will lose so many relationships. You will lose so much business. You will lose staff. Then you have precision. Be really precise. Practice precision in language. And when you're listening to others, practice precision. For example, sometimes if you end up in a debate with someone and they start saying a bunch of stuff, if you just pause and just like, wait, what words did this person actually speak? Be like, that, and that is super vague. When that vagueness is pointed out, if the other person is using like frame control, it just collapses because it cannot sit there and explain the vagueness of everything properly. Or if it's with a friend and you're just trying to resolve some conflict, if you get really precise, you can find out what is actually happening. Or if you're with a romantic partner and just really precise. Hey, I noticed you said that, or you made this facial expression, or you made that gesture when you said this. Could you tell me what's going on there? You get so much more intimacy and love and connection. And then you tune to emergence. So emergence comes in 3 stages. You have emergence, then it unfolds, and then it self-liberates. So something comes up, it changes, and it goes away. It's all impermanent. It's all anicca. This allows you to not cling, allows you to have equanimity. It also allows you to stay even deeper in the freshness of the experience with someone. Allow it to unfold and see where it goes. You don't have to control it all. And then lastly, we have a horizontal attitude. I'm not above you, I'm not below you. A lot of people, especially as men, will learn a lot of these kind of self-development techniques, communication-wise, to like be in this like power position. Try to be here. Like actually just go for horizontal position. When people are really healthy, they will reciprocate this. Yeah, go ahead.
So, as a kind of thing that can happen there.
Can't really hear
Oh,
you.
sorry. We good now?
Yeah.
Hi. I would imagine if we're biased towards putting ourselves above, right? We want to bring it down. Um, but I'd also imagine either be it in our mind or actually in the actual dynamic where the other person might be doing that thing where they're like, I'm here, you know?
Yeah.
You would probably want to see if, like I think we talked about this in the previous call. You want to see if they're open to like kind of like positive regard, pointing out what you're noticing. How do you see things? Da da da. Right? Probably want to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. So you just use the 5 principles for it,
Yeah.
right? So what's arising in me, what's emerging, is that it seems to me like this person is trying to one up me,
Mhm.
right? So speaking with curiosity, I could be wrong. I'm open to having an incorrect interpretation of this, right? And let's get really precise. What exactly is it that makes me think this, right? And now let's state it. Hey, what's coming up for me is that I noticed this, this, and this. That makes me interpret it as if you are trying to do this thing. But I could be completely incorrect. And I'm also noticing that whatever positive thing it is that's happening for the person. So it's not all bad, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. What's coming up for you as you're hearing all of this? And we let the other person speak. They're invited to speak. We're not telling them that they're doing this or what they're doing. It's an invitation. Right. And it doesn't have to be in that order.
Yeah.
That's the way it emerged for me right now. Hmm. So what's coming up for you as you're hearing that?
Yeah. What comes up for me there is that, well, as you're giving an example, the way I would phrase it would come up along the lines of, you said that was you would find it uncomfortable, or that was the example, right? For me, for some reason, it was like, it seems like, so like, seems like you're saying this and phrasing your questions this way, which I'm interpreting as you're trying to dictate how we're doing this dynamic between us, whereas the way I do this and the way I don't enjoy doing this are, if you're above me, I don't want that dynamic. This is like I'm giving a coaching example, right? Or a sales example. And I would much prefer we're on the same level because we're just collaborating here, try to get the result. And us having that dynamic will not make me want to engage in this. But I could be wrong. This might not be what you're doing. Can you please tell me like how you're seeing this and what your intention in asking me these questions is? That that's what comes
Yeah.
up.